Imagine you have only enough money to survive until Friday. Then your phone lights up. Rent, a bill, your car needs fixing, and suddenly everything else disappears. Your brain isn't thinking about next year. It's thinking about Friday. And that's where something strange can happen. Money problems don't just affect your bank account. They can change what your mind pays attention to. Psychologists call this scarcity. When something important feels limited, money, time, even food, your attention can become pulled toward the shortage. Think about being hungry. You can walk into a room full of things and somehow notice food immediately. Financial scarcity can work in a similar way. When you're constantly thinking, how am I going to pay this? What happens if something goes wrong? Can I make it to the end of the month? Those questions can become the loudest thing in your head. Researchers call one part of this tunneling. Your attention gets narrower, and strangely enough, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. If there's an immediate problem, focusing intensely on it can help. The problem is what happens outside the tunnel. Imagine you're trying to get through this month. You find a way to cover today's emergency. Problem solved, but the bigger issue remains. Then another emergency appears, and you solve that one, then another. You're constantly putting out fires, not because you're irresponsible, not because you don't care about the future, but because the present keeps demanding your attention. And this is where scarcity can become dangerous. The immediate problem gets so much attention that long-term problems can become easier to ignore. Saving feels less urgent than today's bill. Planning feels less important than today's crisis. And sometimes the choice that makes sense right now creates a bigger problem later. Researchers have found evidence connecting scarcity with shifts in attention and decision-making, including greater focus on immediate concerns and, in some experiments, increased borrowing. But here's the part I think is most important. This doesn't mean poor people make bad decisions. That's far too simple. Scarcity can affect anyone. You can be financially comfortable and still experience scarcity. Give someone an impossible deadline and suddenly they have no time for anything else. Take away something they desperately need and their attention follows it. Scarcity isn't a personality. It's a condition your mind responds to, and that distinction matters. So what can you actually do about it? The goal isn't to simply tell yourself, stop worrying about money. That doesn't work when the problem is real. Instead, try to make your future decisions require less attention. Automate what you can. Separate money for important expenses before everything else competes for it. Write down upcoming bills instead of repeatedly calculating them in your head. And when you're facing a financial decision, ask one simple question. Am I solving a problem or just moving it into next month? Because when you're trapped in the tunnel, the exit can be surprisingly difficult to see. Scarcity doesn't mean you're bad with money. Sometimes it means your brain is doing exactly what brains do, paying attention to what feels most urgent. The danger is when the urgent becomes so loud that you stop seeing the important. And that's how worrying about having too little can sometimes make it harder to build enough.